Okay, let's take a look at our random packet for the other pile. Okay, so I'll just set these down so that we can kind of focus on things. Okay, so as an AMP, that's often the easiest one to just quickly scan. Okay, and that's why I have it listed first, because it's probably the fastest. So check this out. This is nice. AMP, you're taking them in pairs from the top, right? Just like in the diagram, bottom left-hand side of the screen. Okay, well, these are not only of the same color, they're the same suit. That's kind of nice. The King of Spades, Five of Clubs, same color. Okay. The Queen here and the 9 here are of opposite color. And the same thing here. The Ace and the 2 are of opposite color. Okay, so here, if you go with an AMP, one approach would be to say that you've matched up the pairs so that you have a red pair. If you want to remember it's diamonds, that would be fine. A black pair, and then the remaining pairs are of opposite color. Okay, let's take a look at it as a 2-cycle structure now. And so I'll go ahead and just kind of jog half of it up so that you can focus on the 2-cycle structure. So once again, if you look at the bottom left side of the screen, you'll see a 2C and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's kind of the quintessential representation for a 2-cycle where the cycle length is 4. Okay, so what we have here then, remember this one and this one, these are related, okay, by position. These two are related by position. These two are related, and these two are related, okay? So we get red 4, black queen, so opposite color. Oh, we do get a queen and a 9 of the same suit. It's kind of nice. Opposite color there. And then we get a second pair of the same suit, a 5 and a 2. So that's kind of nice. So we have a matching pair in suit, namely diamonds. And we also have a matching pair in suits, but clubs. So we have clubs and diamonds, matching suits, and then the others are all, the other two are of different colors. Okay? Now let me just point out, you need not focus, you can branch out the kinds of relationships you notice among the cards. So for example, if we choose to use this as a 2-cycle, which would be fine, notice that the queen, which counts as a 12, right? Jack's 11, queen's 12, king's 13. A 12 plus 9 is 21. Well, 21's kind of an important number in card magic and in card games. So that's interesting. So if you want to, instead of thinking of it, the queen and the 9, just remember the number 21. And associate it with something positive, like winning. You win with that 21, and winning brings you money. And diamonds represent a lot of money. So you could just squirrel away. There's a pair of cards that add to 21, and they're both diamonds. Isn't that interesting? In a similar way, for 5 and 2 of clubs that match, look at what they add up to. As far as, quote, lucky numbers. Well, many people believe 7 is one of the luckiest numbers out there. So instead of remembering 5 and 2, you could just add those and think 7. Okay, so they add up to 7, and it's clubs. So at the very end, you can reveal pairs where you can say, well, that's interesting. One of these pairs adds up to 21, which would actually help you in certain games. And I think they're diamonds. Probably because that's such a winning pair of values to come up with. So yeah, so 2 of these cards add to 21, and they're both diamonds. That's curious. And then I think one of the other pairs, I can't see their values, but I think they add to 7. Is black? I think it's clubs. I think it's clubs. So let's go ahead and check. Okay, and so at the end, you reveal the pairs and show that indeed you have a pair of cards that add to 21 and they're diamonds, and you have a pair of cards that add to 7 and they're clubs. Okay, and then the other two do not match. Okay, so that might be a good way to go. We'll go ahead and just use this one for our 2-cycle example. Now we need to jot down what we just talked about there. Let me move these over there. Okay, so we have our mirrored set. So let's just make a little note here. So we can just say one pair, I'll abbreviate it here, one pair adds to 21, and then you can put a little diamond there if you want. And then one pair add to 7, which is considered to be an equally lucky number for most people. And that ends up being a club. The other two pairs, nothing special. They're kind of losing pairs of cards. So 2 pairs of opposite color. Okay, so that's some interesting little features there. There you go. Okay, so now this one is a 2-cycle structure. The last one, one pair of the same suit as diamond, but their values add to 21. And then we also had another pair that adds to 7. 7's often considered to be a lucky number as well. That was a club. And then the other two, of course, will be non-matching pairs. Okay, so if you view this as a 2-cycle, that's exactly what we can reveal at the end, as long as we don't make a mistake. Okay. Okay, so oh yeah, we're doing something very different this time. Okay, so we're going to be introducing card flipping, okay? There's a fair amount of it on the diagram, the larger diagram. Let me just show you what we will be doing. Let's go back to our basic shuffles for just a minute. Okay, so we're going to view, this is being viewed as a 2-cycle. Okay, so what I'm saying here is randomly flip some cards. So what you do here, and I can explain why it's helpful to have the spectator do this, you just kind of fan out the cards. You don't change their order because they're already random from the start. And so you just have them come in here and maybe flip, I don't know, maybe 3 of them or something, or okay, so maybe they flip that one, and then they flip this one, and then maybe they flip this one. Top one. Okay, so it actually doesn't matter. Sorry, let me fan those out so you can see. So you have the spectator kind of just randomly flip up, and you put them back where they came from. Randomly flip face up. Let's say 3 cards. But they could do as many as they like, or, you know, don't flip all of them. That's kind of silly. Okay, so, of course, this is still a 2-cycle, right? We put the cards back where they came from, so it hasn't destroyed that structure. Now, what we're going to do is a really powerful shuffle. Talk about convincing shuffle, and I had to give it a name. There's no name out there. I've never even seen anyone perform this before I came up with it. I call it a supercut. So it really is a cutting of the cards, but it involves flipping the cards. Okay, so what you do here is you just count out into your hand any number of cards, and then Charlier shuffle the rest. So you can ask the spectator, it's nice to have some still in your hands, so you can say, you know, choose a number between 1 and 5, and maybe they say 3. So what you do is you go 1, 2, 3, okay, so those got reversed, flip, they're back in their original order, and then move into a Charlier shuffle. Now it's a little easier to do this if you have like 12 or more cards. So maybe they say, okay, 2 this time, and then just do a Charlier shuffle, top to bottom, bottom to top. Maybe they only want to flip 1 this time, so you just move into top to bottom, bottom to top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope I didn't mess up one of those because I was talking to you. 1, 2, 3. I may have messed up the second one I did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could even just do that. At any point, you can do a random flip too. You flip the whole packet over. The spectating saying flip. You go 1, 2, 3, and then move into a Charlier. Okay. And so you can do as many of those, 1, 2, many of those as you like, till the spectator says, okay, I'm convinced the cards are beyond the knowledge of anyone. Okay, so in just a minute we're going to find out if I messed up. I kind of sensed that on the second one, because I was talking to you, I messed up one little step there, but we'll see. We'll find out. Okay, so that's a supercut. Oh, random flip. Oh, more supercuts. Okay, so I did that. So we're down here. It's still a 2-cycle if I haven't made a mistake. So if you come over here, a Bessie 1-1, which is at 15, it will convert, always, no restrictions, a 2-cycle to a mirrored structure. Okay, so a Bessie 1-1 is where you take the top card and then the bottom top card individually. Okay, so it might seem like it's the same as the Klondike, but it isn't. It's highly more destructive as a shuffle in terms of like just mixing the cards. So Bessie 1-1, you take the top one from the top, one from the bottom, one from the top, one from the bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Okay, so that is a Bessie 1-1. It is now mirrored. Okay, now I'm going to show you a structure preserving shuffle that I haven't shown you yet. It's number 7. It's called 2 and then O-C. Now the OC stands for overcoating. Overcoating. Okay, that's not my term. Okay, that term's been around for a number of years. So overcoating means to count out 50% or more of the cards and drop the rest on top. Now it ends up that if you have a mirrored construction and you perform two identical overcoatings, then it preserves that mirrored structure. It doesn't like return the packet to its original order by any stretch, but it does preserve mirrored constructions. Okay, so what I suggest here is, well, like if the person's name is, Robert or Mary, or a lot of people's names, as long as it has 4 letters, but not more than 8, you can spell it out twice. Okay, so what I have here is I have magic cards, because they both have 5 letters. But if your name is John or James or Anna, anyone with 4 letters or more, this would work. But I'll go ahead and just I'll spell magic cards. So M-A-G-I-C, drop the rest on top, cards, C-A-R-D-S. Okay, so if this was mirrored before, it's still mirrored now. Okay, and then finally we're going to turn this into a DMP. We're going to use something called the LR to the negative R. Okay, so I do want to emphasize that this is pure notation here. So LR is the left-right shuffle, but the negative R, it doesn't mean like a negative exponent, really. I mean, you can't view it in that way. The negative R is there as a reminder that you're going to do essentially the same thing as the LR inverse, but you're going to reverse the order in which you deal the second level of cards. Okay, so that's why the R is there. It's there as a mnemonic to help remind people, oh, okay, instead of doing an LR inverse would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on top of that. That's our LR inverse. So LR to the negative R is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you put the next card here, 1, 2, 3, 4, the other direction. Okay, so I'll just show you. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you go 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of backwards. So that is an LR to the negative R. Okay, and now we have a DMP. Okay, so now you can just, and this is where we'll find out if I messed up on the super coat. That's the only place that I felt like I may have made a mistake. Okay, now what's fun about having some of the cards face up, face down is it gives a little bit more mystery, especially if it maybe you, like if you had written this ahead of time, you're a little, you know, you saw the cards, they saw the cards, and then you just write down, you know, write down a prediction, and then you do all this mixing. So if you remember, we're going to have one pair of diamonds that add to 21, one pair that adds to 7, but they're clubs, and then the other two pair will be opposite color. Okay, so let's find out if I messed up. Okay, so two of these will be of opposite color. Okay, those are opposite color. Okay, so there. Oh shoot, looks like I maybe did mess up. Did I mess up? Oh, I hope not. Let's check this. Somewhere went wrong with. Okay, so we got our clubs, we got our diamonds, but this little guy is supposed to be over here. Darn it. So that second step in the supercut, I messed up. Okay, so these add to 7, they're clubs, which is what we predicted, and then we said we'd have a pair of diamonds, but they're about, oh, what am I thinking? These add to 21, you idiot. Okay, so 12 plus 9 just for today is 21, and they're diamonds, and then these other are non-matching.